John, thank you for everything that you have done, not only for me, but for so many others. You are a constant source of wisdom, of kindness, of patience. You're an absolute model of what it is to be a clinical professor, to be a supervisor in a criminal defense clinic. I can't tell you how many lessons I learned, not only from watching you, listening to you. You're always available, always ready and willing to talk through case issues, even when the cases and the facts seemed terrible and so untriable. Your constant refrain was, that sounds like a good little case. And you always had this kind of hopeful, buoyant attitude about everything. And I really, really appreciated that, and just so incredibly supportive. And so I hope that in your next chapter, you take the time to rest, relax, enjoy your family and friends, maybe come back to the courthouse every once in a while. But for the most part, take it easy. It's a well-deserved rest and a well-deserved retirement.
John, I've said to you personally, and I'll say it again here, being in the Prettyman Fellowship and working with you has changed my life forever in such positive ways. You are such an exceptional person, such an exceptional teacher, such a calm and reassuring presence in my life for all these years. I have a memory of you that's going to sound like I'm making this about me, so I apologize for that. But the first time I ever taught a class in a law school, I was teaching our small section in the criminal clinic, and you came to observe me, and I was very nervous, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And you came up afterwards and said, "Hey, you're really good at this." And sorry, I get emotional. I don't know if I was really good at this. I don't know if that was the actual case, but I think you saw something in me, and the fact that that was your reaction to me, that I could do this. It's a moment I'm sure that you don't remember. It's one of millions of times you've supported fellows like me, but I remember it because it told me I could do something really hard and something I didn't know if I could do, and that I had the capability of doing it. And I also know you don't just say things because just say them. You are an authentic person who says things because you mean them. So I just really wanted to share that moment with you. I hope it doesn't sound like it was about me, because it's really about you and the significance you've had in my life. So thank you, John Copacino, for being the person that you are, being the steady guidance you are in all of our lives. And I know I join all of the fellows in saying I hope you have the most amazing adventures and retirement in this next stage of your life. So love you. Thank you for everything.
Copacino! I cannot think about the Prettyman program going on without you. It literally doesn't even make any sense to me. But do you remember that time when you threw a baseball at me? Do you remember that time? It was really hilarious. Well, for you, but if we were in your office, we were talking about some suppression issue, and you had a baseball, and this just let me know like how much better you were, or at like pretty much everything, because here I'm like spilling all this stuff about this suppression hearing, and like you actually really only needed to use like a quarter of your brain to focus on it, and in the meantime you were like talking about you had a baseball, and you started saying, you know how I can't remember, I don't know sports ball, but you know how the curveball works, Robin? It just springs right off your fingers. It just springs right off. And then you put a baseball on your hand, and then you went, it springs right off, and it hit me in the head. Do you remember that? Right after you hit me in the head with the baseball, you actually gave me like the answer to basically my suppression motion. So maybe that there's some kind of like metaphor there in like what it was like to work with you. Oh, I don't know, but I love you so much. I'm so proud to have been one of your fellows, and I just wish you all the best, and I hope that I get to see you tons and tons, even though I also hope that you have like a blissful retirement on some gorgeous beach somewhere, because with all the good that you have done in the world, that's absolutely what you deserve.
One of the favorite evaluations I've ever received from a student, a clinic student, was at the end of the year, they wrote me the evaluation and it said this was my favorite class in law school. And I've never been told I was wrong so often or so helpfully. I take that as a real compliment, right? And I attribute that to John. John was the master of gently and constructively telling us that we had done something not ideally well.
John, you started supervising us 25 years ago. I have a terrible memory. I can't remember people, places, events, but I still remember so much of what you taught me, both sort of generally about how to be a supervisor and a lawyer, but very specific things that I find myself talking to my students about, how to derail cases so that you're talking about anything other than the facts of the case by going off on the train tracks. I still use that with my students, talking about the facts of the law versus facts of the case. Repeat, reverse, triples, all these things that maybe other people have, learned, that you didn't invent them necessarily, but you had a way of supervising and teaching and mentoring that stuck with me and sticks with me and will stick with me for the rest of my career, and that I'm hoped to pass on to my students, even in some small measure. I feel like if I can do that, I will be a successful teacher.
Congratulations, John, on a well-deserved retirement. Over the years since I was lucky enough to have you as my supervisor, I've stolen as much as I possibly could from you, both in terms of teaching my clinical students how to be a lawyer, teaching myself how to be a lawyer, and just the sentiment that you bring to this work, which is endlessly hopeful and helpful and just inspirational. So congratulations and thank you for everything.
Well, yeah, thank you. Good to thank him.
I would just say to John that he should realize that he has an amazing legacy in that he has created a cadre of lawyers all around the country who are litigating with passion and excellence and humor. And all of that is a result of his mentoring of us. And really, for someone to be retiring from a career knowing how much those ripples have spread and how many people are out doing that amazing work, really because of how he taught us, is a legacy he should be proud of, and he should feel happy and hopefully love the next stage of his life as much as he clearly has succeeded in the past.
Copacino, despite all the time you spent training me, mentoring me, and bringing me along, you failed me because, as I sit here, I can't put into words what you truly mean to me. Being able to see you as a teacher, as a boss, and then as a colleague and as a friend, you're an incredible human being and someone I'm very glad that our paths crossed. The fellowship is going to be worse off without you in it, and everyone's going to miss you.
Hi, John. I'm so sorry that I can't be there in person to tell you this myself, so I'm sure I'm going to make sure to come and swing by and see you at some other point before you're really, really gone. But just wanted to say congratulations on an amazing career. You have touched so many of us, and it has been a true privilege to have been one of your fellows. And the time that I had with you, getting to work with you and learn from you, left an impact on my life as a person and certainly on my idea of myself as an advocate and as a public defender specifically. And I'm just so grateful for your kind spirit, for your openness, for your honesty, and for the ways that you pushed me, while also, making time and space for fun and for laughter and for jokes, and for, the person that we all are as we're doing this important work. And so I'm forever grateful for that. I am just so excited for the time that you're going to enjoy, and we will miss you. It won't be the same without you, but this is a very, very well-deserved retirement. So congratulations.
I have known John since my first year of law school. I went to him in the fall of my 1L year and said, hey, I'm thinking about maybe criminal defense, and he said, sit right there, dear. And he called an attorney at the Public Defender Service. Her name is Mary Kennedy, and said, "I think I have your clerk for next summer." I was lucky to maintain a relationship with John all 3 years at the law center. I did clerk for Mary. I stayed with her a whole other year. John was instrumental in my getting a clerkship. And then I was a third year in the criminal justice clinic. And then I applied to be a fellow. And John was, of course, part of the team that selected me to be a fellow. So in many ways, I owe my entire career to John Copacino and what he did for me and the role he played, both sort of, helping out, but also sort of the modeling, right? The day-to-day, in and out, let's go get him to eat, just like the wonderful, again, the joy in the work, which I've always really appreciated. So I would say, John, you've given so much to me, so much to your students, so much really to the world. I hope you take a victory lap, and then I hope you take a break. You deserve it.